Particularly in the very near future, we're going to be placing tariffs on foreign production of computer chips, semiconductors, and pharmaceuticals to return production of these essential goods to the United States of America. They left us and they went to Taiwan, which is about 98% of the chip business, by the way. And we want them to come back, and we don't want to...
For one, I don't know why he has, like, granola in his mouth. I'm not sure why he's eating granola while up there on stage. Secondly, President Xi does nothing, wins. What the absolute... Are you guys ready for the PS6 to cost like $4,000? Oh my god. Yeah, get your goddamn graphics cards while you can. Holy shit.
To give them billions of dollars like this ridiculous program that Biden has. Give everybody billions of dollars. They already have billions of dollars. They've got nothing but money, Joe. They didn't need money. They needed an incentive. And the incentive is going to be they're not going to want to pay a 25, 50, or even 100% tax. They're going to build their factory with their own.
Why is he doing this? We're f***ing ourselves over for no reason. My theory for this is that he's essentially trying to do the CHIPS Act without the CHIPS Act so that he can take credit for it, and also because he wants to set up his own incentive structure. The reason he's doing this is because he is planning to give Taiwan to China. That's my guess. I genuinely can't think of any other explanation for this. Taiwan is a, like, very close U.S. ally. There's no tension between America and Taiwan. We're extremely tight-knit. We rely heavily on their chips, as does the rest of the world. It seems to me like the only thing I could really see this being for is, like, to encourage very quick development of manufacturing of chips in the United States in anticipation of China being given, or sorry, Taiwan being given to China. I genuinely can't think of anything else. He needs to placate House Republicans' budgetary concerns too. Yeah, but they don't actually have budgetary concerns, is my issue. They've never actually cared about the budget. It's not that much money. Like, he's already cutting the CHIPS Act, but the imports that we get from the chips from Taiwan, those are fielded by private companies in a lot of cases. If he wanted to cut back, like, the federal involvement in that doesn't require tariffs. I don't know. I think that he's giving Taiwan away. I can't think of any other... There are so many reports of Trump aides constantly pushing for tariffs first, negotiating later, especially with Canada and Mexico. I can't think of a reason besides we just hate our allies. It is crazy how Trump would act exactly like this if he was an agent of a foreign power. Like, it is wild how you would not expect any change in his behavior if he was just straight up like a foreign agent. God, when Tulsi Gabbard takes office, Jesus Christ. I think I'm not trying to be alarmist. I think that's the most likely explanation. I think he's willing to give Taiwan to China. I think that we're going to start seeing not pro-Chinese. We're going to start seeing, like, I have negotiated, better IP like laws with China. I've respected better trade deals, and all they ask in return is that we not interfere in their internal affair of reuniting Chinese Taipei with the mainland or whatever the. You know, the one China policy we've respected for many years. I see no reason to get involved. America first. We don't want to get involved in foreign wars. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, he'll say he ended the Chinese Civil War by reunifying China. That's true. That's crazy. Upsides, relations will probably be much better. I promise you. I promise you. The annexation, well, not annexation, the invasion of Taiwan would not lead to a more peaceful South China Sea, okay? It would be a ruinous, but the Taiwanese would like fight for every square foot of land. It would be devastating. It would not be good. They would sabotage the plants. Oh, probably, yeah. They would cut the elevator up the Eiffel Tower. This is pretty grim, guys. Pretty grim. This is the reason behind the tariffs. You can't just link an article saying who a guy is. I know who Stephen Moran is. What's the point? Thank you.
Money. We don't have to give them money. They're going to come in because it's good for them to come in. They're giving them money. They don't even know what they're going to do with it. I had people tell me, we have no idea. We didn't need money. They don't know if they're probably going to use the money to build in other places, other countries. It's a ridiculous plan, very expensive and ridiculous. The only way you'll get out of this is to build your plant. If you want to stop paying the taxes or the tariffs, you have to build your plant right here in America. That's what's going to happen at record levels. We're going to have more.
The MIC wouldn't allow being pulled out of Taiwan. Why not? Like, why not? The military-industrial complex makes money when people are fearful and paranoid about the world. When people feel the need to raise their defense budgets up to the moon and beyond. Like, why not? China rapidly expanding territory. Japan would have to rearm, like the Japanese mainland. They would have to start dumping money into their own military production because the expansion into the South China Sea would be a massive like geopolitical threat in the region. It would probably push like Vietnam and the Philippines closer to like it's just huge. They're already rearming. They'll double rearm. Taiwan claims they'd hit the Three Gorges with cruise missiles or has in the past. I don't think they'd be able to. You have to assume that China has like the world's most sophisticated anti-air, you know, maybe if they have hypersonic missiles, but also that would be like a double, triple war crime. Taking out the Three Gorges Dam would be like, what, like 3 Holocausts in one move? Wouldn't that would flood like 30 million people, right? More? Yorp.
Plants built in the next short period of time than anybody ever envisioned before, because the incentive is going to be there because they have no tariff.
Based, let's go. It's actually not based. I'm sorry to... I know we have some NAFO individuals in chat. I'm really sorry. I know I hate to like cut down on the fun. I actually think that killing essentially like 20 times the number of people who died in Hiroshima, more than like 200 times in one act would be bad personally. That's just... I'm a different kind of guy on that, you know, just sort of a personal opinion of mine.
Whatsoever. In fact, they have help from us if they build their plant in America.
It's not good. By focusing on chips and pharmaceuticals, Trump could squeeze U.S. allies in Asia, including Taiwan, South Korea, and Japan. I love it. It's just, dude, literally everyone this administration is going after is an ally. We're like all the nations that don't like America right now are just like, you know, drumming their fingers together with literally like every single nation we're picking a fight with. Denmark, Greenland, Canada, Mexico, Colombia, potentially now South Korea, Japan, obviously Taiwan, like all of these countries, they're all our allies. Every one of them. Brazil, Panama too. Australia, nah, they're fine. Don't worry about it. Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Co., the world's largest contract chipmaker, makes semiconductors for NVIDIA, Apple, and other U.S. clients. TSMC generated 70% of its revenue in 2024 from customers based in North America. Insane. Like we rely on them so much. 1 glorpillion more to Israel. That's true. South Korea too. Why isn't he shaking down Japan for all our military support? Oh, I'm sure he'll pick that fight eventually. It's just a one thing at a time kind of deal, you know? No way shift chip manufacturing fast enough stateside to intentionally hand to one shot. Okay, but you have to understand, okay? Prices going down and the economy doing well for the oligarchs, those are not the same things, okay? Remember, the modern day wealth on top, like speculative wealth, VC wealth, has nothing to do with how well you're doing, okay? The oligarchs got richer after 2008. The oligarchs got richer after COVID. Like, there's the relationship between how well the economy is doing for us and how well it's doing for them. Total disconnect. The more crisis, generally, the more wealth they get. So this, like, oh, sure, maybe your cards go up. Maybe everything gets more expensive. What does that have to do with them? That shit, that's not on them. That's not their wealth. When does it go worse for them? That's the fun part. It never does. The way the economy is currently structured, it never does. Their wealth will only go up, not down. It's designed that way. The line keeps going up. Well, eventually it's going to go down. But it'll go down for everyone. I don't understand. How is this good for tech oligarchs? We ought to lose the tech race now. You have to restructure how you think about these things, okay? The tech race isn't real. Nothing is real, all right? There are like 100, maybe 200 people on top of society that own basically everything. Their wealth is abstract and determined largely via vibes and hype. As long as people believe in it, they have that money. Because speculation and share values, I mean, that's what determines their wealth. Now, you getting screwed over has nothing to do with that. Who cares if Chinese billionaires are doing well? They're part of the same class. The systems that made our billionaires wealthy made their billionaires wealthy. To the extent that they collaborate, you know, ultra wealthy people in America rely on Chinese manufacturing, so Chinese tech does better. Okay, they can leverage that. Like, let me put it this way. Yeah, like Dana brings up. Let me put it this way, okay? You know that story about how they were going to dump $500 billion into AI research and then China came out with a better one after spending like, I don't know, 10 million or something like that? People are like, oh, this is costing the oligarchs money. And sure, NVIDIA takes a stock dip for the moment. You know, we'll see how long that one lasts. I've seen that happen before. Like Bitcoin went down and now it's through the roof, you know? So why does it matter, right? They spend money on AI. That money just comes back around to them. Government investment, you know, shareholder hype, speculative investment, and they benefit in the long run from the developments that come out of the Chinese product. It's this, the system's rigged. And I'm sorry, I know it's a sophomoric thing to say as a left-leaning person. I understand that, like, did you know the system's rigged? Did you know that they socialize the costs but privatize the profit? Like, I know. I've been hearing the same rhetoric since 2008, you know, all the 1% versus 99%ers. I know Occupy Wall Street, I get it, but it's still true. It's still true. So like, what do you know, like it unfortunately, like past the point, the truth might become a little bit like banal to repeat, but the truth, it remains. At Socialism 101. Well, this isn't really about socialism. It's about late-stage capitalism. But I guess you can't really talk about late-stage capitalism without being a socialist, because if you don't believe in socialism, you have to pretend that this is like corporatism. Oh, no, this outcome that is happening everywhere around the world in every developed capitalist society, this is just like an aberration. It's not meant to be like that. Democracies aren't supposed to be this heavily influenced by the ultra wealthy. Who made it like that? What system made it so that a small group of people had enough wealth to buy all the media and then rig the system in favor of their interests? Why I don't understand. So yeah, it's a systemic failing, obviously. Yeah, you can't just give capitalism a slap on the ass and get it to not act this way. At least it gave us Nintendo. That's true. That's very true. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. I am concerned about the Taiwan tariffs. Apparently Taiwan's responded? 1 second. Oh yeah, reminder that we're like 4 days out from the threatened 25% tariffs to Canada and Mexico, which I still feel like they're going to back out on, because like if that does happen, it would be ruinous to the economy. I'm stockpiling beans, are you? Responding to Trump tariff threat, Taiwan says chip business is win-win. Semiconductor business between Taiwan and U.S. is a win-win model for both sides, given the high level of complementarity, the government said on Tuesday. Yep. But that's only the case if you care about how well your country or the people in the country are doing, as opposed to how well like 5 guys who run the country are doing, you know? It's like with Russia, you know? Russia has done lots of stuff to bankrupt Russia. Do you think the oligarchs are bankrupt? God, no. It was like this with feudal kings and aristocrats and stuff. You could have feast or famine. You could have good harvest years or bad harvest years. You could have wars, which went well and you plundered gold or whatever, and you could have wars that would go poorly. At the end of the day, the noblemen are always wealthy. They never run out of money. The system is set up so that they don't run out of money. That's the whole point. A bad economy means no one can buy these chips anyway. Who cares? So no one can buy them. And what does that have to do with the fake economy? You're talking about the real economy again. Again, remember, the oligarchs, all of their money is held in hype. It's in a fake economy. I know it sounds sophomoric to say, and I love that word, thank you, but it's true. Their money is not held in anything that is derived from the real material exchange of resources within the economy. You understand? It has nothing to do with it. But don't the companies like Meta need to buy chips from Taiwan? I still don't understand, man. This shit is so okay, say that Meta needs to spend more money to buy those chips. What does that have to do with the wealth of Zuckerberg personally? So chip prices go up. Every company that's doing tech stuff all around the world now has to pay more money to get chips. Meta, which already has a ton of money, can afford to buy those chips in spite of the scarcity. In fact, because Meta has so much money, they can invest in the production of new chip factories in the United States. Maybe even engage in some vertical integration, buy them, and build them from the ground up. If anything, it just gives an opportunity to Meta to engage in vertical integration. Now, not only is Meta one of the world's largest producers of chips, they get to sell them to themselves. Well, they're not even selling them to themselves. They get them at a premium. Google is doing this? Yep, it's vertical integration. Every crisis is an opportunity. It doesn't matter whether the products get more expensive for you or lower quality for you or whether there's not enough of them for you. That's not where the money's coming from. It comes from monopoly. It comes from speculation. It comes from a bigger and bigger and bigger bubble of speculative investment sitting on top of the real economy. And it is a bubble, but it's a very big and durable one. They're calling it a steel bubble, folks. Or like those glass bubbles, you know? You'd think they'd be fragile, but they're actually quite durable if the glass blower knows what they're doing. Google is becoming a fabless semiconductor design company like Apple and AMD. They can't afford to create their own fabs and design their own nodes. Okay, well now you're talking nerd talk. I'm really sorry. I play the games. I don't make them. Does everyone understand? Okay, it's very important to me that everyone gets what I'm talking about with this specific thing, okay? Like, everyone who's like, this is going to destroy the economy. Sure, the real economy, for you and me, the economy that relates in some way to like the affordability and availability of consumer products, sure. But most of the money in society these days, there's no mobility to it. It just sits on top. It's not cycling around. I give it my pitch, okay? I give it my pitch. Okay, but at some point it has to reach those people. They're not in orbit. Oh yeah. The hype will die down eventually, don't get me wrong. And they're in for a rough fall when it does. At least some of them are. But that's not going to stop them in the meantime. Global warming's the big one. But keep in mind, as you're pointing out, all of the ultra-wealthy oligarchs that we're talking about have bunkers. They know. They understand. They're not emotional, free of reason animals charging forward. They're plundering, and they know that no matter how things go, they can go back to that bunker. Hundreds of millions of dollars spent to fortify them. Just keep that in mind. They have their escape strategy. They have their golden parachute. Bosch, I think you're overreacting. The odds of this having a devastating impact on average people is minuscule. It's the collective effect of basically every economic decision that we've seen made over decades. It's not just this. It's everything. All the money being stripped from social services, taxes being raised on regular people and lowered for the wealthy, a capital gains tax lowered, business tax lowered, more and more and more of the money in our economy being totally immobile up at the top rather than down here. There is a very real and material difference in how the distribution of wealth looked back in the 1950s to how it does today. As unequal as the 1950s were in a lot of ways, nothing compared to today. And it's a totally different kind of inequality. Back then, the money you got from your factory, you spend it, it goes around the community, it comes back around in wages. Most of the money, circulated in the communities in which it was spent. Money goes to the government spends it on shit, the people that get that money spend it on other shit, pays out wages, you get the money again. But nowadays, the vast majority of money in the United States, in the world, is just in a bubble on top. It's not getting paid to anyone. It's not going anywhere. It's not doing anything. It's just a bubble right up here. That's why the average wage of a CEO has gone from was it like 8 times the average worker to like 150 times and more? And that's just the average CEO, not even like the select few oligarchs who are making like $5 billion a second or whatever, I'm sure they have good dental for the workers at those bunkers, Terminal Sandy. Taiwan's presidential office, in a separate statement, said the island and the United States have good mutual trust and a close relationship when it comes to chips and high-tech cooperation. Said it's a win-win situation. There's basically nothing that Taiwan can do about this, which is pretty sickening. You know that the TSMC and the government over there have to have like a big tummy ache right now. Can we talk about how this is an international effort? It is. Capital is international. America is definitely like the, capital of capital, though.